This is it, folks. Let's start with this message. I have seen all your videos and I've enjoyed every one. I have particular interest in the refit videos, and while they were fairly detailed, one thing you guys didn't discuss much was cost. Of course, it's none of my business if you don't want to share. That was from Quest for Thunder, who, after sending us that message, became a Patreon and therefore had access to the Patreon-only video that we did on our refit series. But in this week's episode, we posted up a little clip on a Dua upper boat for sale here in Krabi, and it generated a lot of discussion, specifically around the subject of how much it would cost to refit the boat. So, since we're talking refits, in this little Follow the Boat Extra, we're going to tell you how you can find out how much we spent on our refit. As you're probably aware, we have a playlist of over 50 refit episodes. If you haven't seen them, check out the link in the top right of your screen now, or in the video description, or just take a look at our playlist section on our YouTube channel. The subject of cost is the single most frequently asked question we receive. We get polite comments from the likes of Johnny Onis, who asked, "The actual refit cost would be fascinating to know if you wouldn't mind sharing that with us. Fair winds, you good people," to the downright rude comments that we received from the likes of Jack Neff, who for a period of time bombarded us with comments like this one.
"You've promised to state the refit cost, but you keep making excuses not to disclose. That sucks."
Thanks for your support, Jack. Other more reasonable questions came from the likes of Gregory Wells, who wanted to know how much our living expenses were when we lived ashore throughout the refit process. And I'm not sure if you've already covered this in a video, but do you have a total refit cost of your interior refit? Nice job. Maybe you already own a boat and you're looking to refit her, or perhaps you're looking to buy a boat with the idea of doing her up. Or maybe you're just a curtain twitcher who likes to know the cost of everything. Irrespective of who you are, if you're watching this video, more than likely you'll want to know how much it costs to refit a boat. We've been asked this question so many times, and often the answer is, how long is a piece of string? What do you want to do in the refit? Do you want to completely gut the interior? Do you want to put wood veneer up again, or do you want to use Formica? Maybe you want to restyle the galley. Maybe you want to move bulkheads, take off the teak deck, treat osmosis, change the rigging. The list goes on, and it's one of the reasons why we tend to avoid answering that question. But of course, many of you want to know how much we paid for our refit. So, since we're on the subject of refits this week, we thought we'd tell you a little bit more about our experiences of the refit process and how much it cost. Now, before we go any further, we should state that there are a number of caveats and notes to bear in mind before we give you those costs. The first is that this was done 4 years ago and costs have changed. And what we've noticed in places like Thailand is that some of those costs are now as expensive as they would be were you to do the refit in somewhere like the UK, Europe, America or Australia, for example. We should also add, and we often recommend to people to approach the marina or the boatyard and get some costs from them. Some websites like PSS, where we did our refit, will actually list their daily rates, their haul-out charges and their hard standing charges. So this is always a first point of call, just to start getting an idea of your basic costs. But perhaps the most important thing to note with our refit is that there were 2 specific areas where we paid for a job lot, a total amount of an agreed price before the work was undertaken, and that was the electrics and electronics refurbishment and the painting. Both of these jobs we agreed a fixed cost beforehand. For example, the electrician actually did a bit of moonlighting. He worked on our boat at the weekends and on Sunday because he was coming into the yard to do a full-time job on another boat. So that should have taken him 2 months. It took him a year to complete the job, and that was simply because he was just working a few hours at a time. Meanwhile, the spray painter worked on the boat for a good 3 or 4 months with a team of people who were fairing those topsides and the new deck that we put down. But again, we agreed a fixed cost. Now, this is quite unusual. Normally, you would pay a daily rate, and even if you were to pay a fixed cost, it wouldn't be anywhere close to what we paid, because we got 2 really good deals. In fact, they were such good deals, I would estimate that the electrical work that we got done should really have cost 10 times the amount that we paid. So at a guess, I would add another $20,000 on top of our total refit cost to give you a more realistic figure of how much it would cost to refit a boat like ours. So before we tell you how to find out these refit costs, just wanted to remind you that everything that we do is for free. Everything you watch on YouTube is for free, and we rely solely on the support of some of our YouTube viewers through Patreon and through our Rum Fund scheme. So if you feel as if you get something out of our videos, then do please consider supporting us. Just for the price of a coffee really does help provide us with the motivation and the means to continue to put out fun and informative videos. Check out followtheboat.com/thanks. Right, let's get down to it. As some of you are aware, and those who are subscribed to our email list know, that Liz has been running a refit series recently over on our blog at followtheboat.com. She's been breaking them down into different sections, and this week she is going to address the issue of the refit costs. So she spent a considerable amount of time putting together all the invoices and the receipts, going through spreadsheets and putting them into a digestible format. So all you have to do is head on over to our blog and check out the post on the refit costs, and it is simply followtheboat.com/refit-cost. And that is it. Everything is there. If you have any comments or suggestions or ideas and just want a discussion about refit costs, then please do either use our blog or put them underneath this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and please do share both this video and the blog to anyone that you think might benefit from it. And of course, as always, peace and fair winds. Tui, can you tell me what Ton's doing? Ton, what are you doing? Go on, Ton. What are you doing, Tom?
What?